Hi everybody, I'm Mahin and welcome to the Sunday in the Studio edition of the Bellydance Quickies. Today we're going to talk about styling on a very common traveling movement, the chasse. So borrowed from ballet and used in dances all across the world. It's just a really useful traveling step, but we have a couple of different ways that we can style it and make it a little more interesting. So let's talk about it. So very simply, your chasse is a right, left, left, right, left step, 1, 2, 3 step, sometimes called a ball change step. So that can definitely be done a bunch of ways. You can do it flat on the first step. It's definitely nicer to have the ball of the foot on the second step. It lets you flow more. So flat like this just gets a little bit clunky. Another thing that tends to make this movement clunky on students is when they lead with their feet. So thinking about taking your feet forward, but not thinking enough about taking your body forward. So what I like to kind of envision and suggest to students is that they feel about leading this movement from the middle of their body and letting their feet carry them, but not really feel like that's the thing that's leading it. So if you lead from the front of the body here. Now, that doesn't really change the line. It kind of just changes the feel of it and the way that it glides across the floor. And imagery has a really powerful effect on how we generate movement, even if it doesn't change a really obvious angle or something outside of the body. It definitely changes how we feel about the movement, and that changes how it looks. So let's look at some other things that do change the angle of the movement, now that we've talked about that. So still, again, leading this movement from the torso and thinking about your energy coming forward and leading from here. We're going to kind of change that lead point a little bit, and we're going to lead from some different places to get some different looks. So let's practice leading from the hip. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. Very pretty, very classic. And so by keeping the feet up on the ball and leading with the hip and letting the hip be the part that goes and draws, we get a really pretty look. It has a kind of a traveling large figure 8 kind of a look to it, especially if you really do a lot of twist. Super pretty. All right, but what if we want to lead with a different part of the body? Maybe you want to emphasize the upper body a little bit more. So if we go here, we can lead with the upper body and a bit of a snake arm or a shoulder roll. And if we want to be even more fancy about it, we might lead with a classic arm. I feel like this one needs some space in between before you go back over the head. So I would do one and then maybe do some like this. So let's look at that now that I mention it. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I don't have a ton of room to move here, but I think you get the idea. So the arm is going to come open, and then you're going to have 2 here, and then it's going to come over, and then we're going to have 2 more, and that could alternate. So usually we use these when we're traveling around the stage, and except in your entrance, you might not have that many of them all on a string. But there's a couple of ideas. Again, you can lead from the hip, like that, and your head kind of stays in one place, which is very useful for balance props. If you want to do something fun and traveling that keeps your balance prop in one place. And then again, with leading from the upper body being more of the focus. So I hope that those are some ideas that help you style your chasses and have a little more fun with them to kind of bring them a little closer to the feeling of the music and bring some variety. Thanks, bye. Hey, thanks for dancing with me. You can subscribe right here and the new belly dance ideas will keep coming. Then follow me over here and let's dance some more.